Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and I'm back home from my trip to New Orleans to spend the whole winter there. So today, I want to give you a summary of my experience spending the winter in New Orleans, which I think a lot of RVers may not have even thought to do. It's not a really popular place in the RV community for people, full-time RVers in particular, to spend their winter, but I thought I would try it, especially since I had never in my life been to Mardi Gras, and this is my first time ever. I really wanted to experience that, and it was an amazing experience. It really was. So I'm here in my childhood hometown of Seguin at Walnut Springs Park. So let me find a place to sit, and I'll tell you all about my winter trip to New Orleans. Full-time RVers like me, who still travel, like to spend their summers in a place that's not too hot, and spend their winters in a place where it's warm, which is, of course, the southern coastal states and the southern states along the border, all of which have some nice places to spend the winter. But like I said, I don't think southern Louisiana is really on many people's winter list. And I didn't know what it was going to be like either, but I thought I would give it a try. So this is going to be my report about that. So when I was planning this trip, I first thought about picking an RV park and then just staying there for like a whole 3 months. But the main goal of most RVers is to stay in a place where you don't need the hookups. I have solar to keep my batteries charged, and I have a propane furnace that does a really good job of keeping my RV warm. So all I really have to do is find a place to dump my waste tanks, fill up my freshwater tank once every 2 weeks or so. So that's typically when I will go to a place where I get hookups to take care of that, at least once every 2 weeks. So I decided, no, I really don't need an RV park for the whole winter. So I decided to find various places to move around to here and there where I would be boondocking, and then just go to a hookup park when I needed to. Problem is, it's kind of hard to find boondocking in and around New Orleans, but I did find 2 good places: the Boomtown Casino on the south side and the Irish Bayou truck stop on the north side. So I got a list here of the places where I stayed, so let me share that with you. I arrived in the New Orleans area on November 21st, and I left on March 2nd. So that's a total of 101 days. Now there are 2 state parks really close to New Orleans. One is on the southwest side of the metro area, and one on the southeast side. And I stayed at those 2 parks a total of 18 days. There's also an Elks Lodge on the north side of New Orleans in the town of Metairie, and there's another Elks Lodge in Slidell, both of which have electric and water hookups. And I stayed at those 2 places combined a total of 43 days. Then the Boomtown Casino that I mentioned before, I stayed at a total of 17 days. Not all at once, but between going from one location to another, I would spend just a few days at the casino as a transition point. And then I stayed overnight in various store parking lots, mostly Walmarts, of course. A total of 23 days. That should add up to 101. Now let me tell you about the weather I experienced. In November and all of December, it stayed pretty warm, surprisingly warm. And when I was boondocking, I didn't use my air conditioner during the day. I can stay cool enough during the day, but I really need my bedroom cool to sleep. So some nights it was warm enough to where I would have to run my air conditioner at night to sleep. Now from early January through about February 20, it turned cold. It was about 7 weeks when it was pretty cold. At least for New Orleans standards. There was only a few days when it got really, really cold, but for the most part, I got along just fine even when I was boondocking. I like it really cold for sleeping. So that was nice, and I can bundle up all I need during the day to stay warm. Kind of surprised me. A few days, skies were totally clear, and it's still really cold. Now, when I say really cold, I don't mean freezing. I don't think it ever got down to the freezing level. Then on February 20, it started to warm up and stayed warm for the rest of the time I was there, about another 10 days. And I looked up New Orleans in Wikipedia for the average temperatures, and I think this last winter was pretty close to the averages, maybe a little on the cooler side. Now it was mostly cloudy the whole winter and did get often rainy. But fortunately, of all the parades I went to, I never got rained on during a parade, so that made me happy. And I went out to see the Mardi Gras parades on 17 different days. Now, for some days, they would have 2 or 3 parades on the same day in the same route that they go. So many days I would see 2 or 3 parades. So altogether, I saw 30 Mardi Gras parades during late January, all of February, and up to March 1st. So altogether, I made about 25 videos around New Orleans, not only of the parades, but a few other things I wanted to show you. I hope you enjoyed watching those videos. I had a lot of fun making them, and it really kind of stunned me how much work and effort people go into without getting paid to put on some really marvelous Mardi Gras parades. And just around the New Orleans area, through Mardi Gras season, they put on, believe it or not, about 75 parades. So I saw well less than half of all the parades actually done, because they will have several parades in different locations just in one day. And you just have to pick which one you want to go to and maybe catch the others in another year. I don't know if I will be going back, but I sure had a lot of fun making these videos. If you haven't watched any of the parade videos, or very many of them, I suggest you take a look at them. They are really kind of stunning. Like there was one where the floats were connected, 8 different trailers connected together like a train. It had an engine and then 7 train car design floats following it, all pulled by a farm tractor. These people in New Orleans just love Mardi Gras. They loved the parades. They love making the floats and going on the floats to throw out a million beads. One little disappointment is that the New Orleans tradition of having women flash for beads is kind of not a thing anymore. Now they throw out beads to anybody for no reason and for nothing. They're all for free now. And you'll see that especially in a couple of videos that I made in the Bourbon Street area of the French Quarter in New Orleans. And overall, I'm giving a big thumbs up for New Orleans as a place to spend a winter. There's no extreme weather conditions, and that's going to vary each year, how warm or cold it is, of course. But overall, it's a good place to spend a winter that you might want to try at least once. And the big benefit is that the winter, February, is when they always do Mardi Gras. So that will keep you busy and entertained throughout the whole winter. And you can either do it the way I did, moving my RV around from place to place in the New Orleans metro area and around the north side of Lake Pontchartrain as well. Or if you're just want to do it the easy way, then book an RV park and stay there for the whole winter in one spot. That's what a lot of people do. It's a little expensive to do it that way, but you have the comfort of not having to move around, and having those hookups every day is nice too. But don't wait until January to make reservations. I suggest you make reservations this summer, pretty soon really, for next winter if you want to stay in an RV park, because I suspect they get filled up pretty quick. I would check on them right away if that's what you really want to do. Those two state parks that I stayed in, I made reservations only like a couple weeks in advance, and it was no problem finding a spot. And they're a lot cheaper, like half the price of regular RV parks. But don't count on that. You can still make your reservations as far in advance as you know when you're going to be there. So please take a look at the videos that I made, and please comment on the comment area just below this video to let me know what you think about New Orleans for spending the winter there if you're a traveling RVer, or if you're an RVer that tends to just stay in one place each season. Maybe you move around just a few times a year. I really had a good time. Let me know if you've done this before or planning to, or comments about my videos. Please do that on the below this video. Good day, folks.